to apologize right now because the sun has started setting earlier, and it took me a couple of days to realize that my cats think that it's 9 o'clock now when the sun sets at 8. So if we are bothered, that is why, and I apologize profusely. Um, but yeah, daylight savings time, the falling back is going to be so much fun. I bet. Anyway, so if we're bothered, that's why. So anyway, I just posted a video that I recorded probably over a month ago on my thoughts on being single in the church. We had just had a discussion that day in Relief Society about what we can do to help our single sisters. And I'm really jealous of widows, I'll be completely honest. And I feel bad because I know you've lost your longtime eternal companion. But dang, are people willing to do anything to help? I was thinking the other day about, when President Thomas S. Monson was called and everyone keeps talking about his 80 widows that he had in his ward and how much he took care of them and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, were there any single sisters in the ward? Why don't we ever hear about them? And I still remember decades, being at ISU and having a member of the Relief Society board, which I had just learned existed, come to a fireside and sitting there listening to her. And she joked about coming home and saying, hi, she's home, because she's single. And I remember thinking, oh my word, they allow single sisters on the Relief Society board. It's the one thing I've been struggling with lately is this just expectation as a woman in the church that you'll get married. And, young women, primary, everything, it's leading up to that fact. And I think as a society as a whole, actually, we're not even ready yet to deal with a surplus of single, unmarried women in life. And just judging from the way people treat me and my friends that are still single and unmarried, and I think it's maybe a lack or a surplus of options now. We don't have to get married. We don't have to join a nunnery or, write novels. I'm reading an excellent book about Jane Austen at the moment. I hope to review it when I finish it because I just love it. I'm finding out more about her and how we kind of treat her novels as, it just happened one day. She happened to write these novels. But the author believes that she took her work very seriously. It was a job to her. It was a way to support herself and her penniless mother and sister instead of having to depend on the, kindness of their family and extended family. Anyway, so we had state conference tonight, which is why I look so nice. I've been meaning to record for a couple weeks, but I've had a cold, which you can probably still hear. And because the entire West is on fire, the cold has not gone away. And honestly, every night I want to curl up in a ball and sleep. Added to that, and I've been meaning to talk about this as well, as I mentioned, I think in my introduction to my video, I'm undergoing a new type of therapy for my anxiety and depression called EMDR. It stands for Eye Movement Desensitization, and I can never remember what the R stands for. Sorry. Anyway, and so I haven't been in the best frame of mind lately, and you wouldn't know because I laugh and I smile and I joke, and that's because all I've done all my life is when things are bad, you laugh and smile. And there are still funny things when the world is falling apart. And I originally started seeing this therapist in July. I'd been seeing a therapist before who was supposed to have experience in this. Did not. And after 6 months, I just realized, I had a couple really bad anxiety attacks at a work event and on a plane, which I've never had a panic attack on a plane. It's not fun having a panic attack on a plane because you cannot go anywhere, which usually when I have anxiety, that's I want to run, I want to get away. So being 14,000 feet in the air and not being able to run and thinking, because it was a small plane, that people would not appreciate you pacing up and down the hallway, the aisle, would not put people in a gentle frame of mind. Anyway, so I survived, but I just realized that this this therapist wasn't helping me. I wasn't using any of the tools. He didn't give me any tools. So, and the reason I'd started seeing a therapist is for the first time in my entire life, it ended up in the hospital with a panic attack last year. I missed a major work event, 2 days of it, and it just devastated me. It was embarrassing. I had an anxiety attack in the middle of a grocery store. I don't know how long I was there on the floor, but anyway, if anyone is interested, I can tell you the story later. But I wanted to kind of get on to, basically there was a trigger for that anxiety attack that I didn't realize was a trigger. It was something that had happened a week before. Someone had just mentioned something to me, and it wasn't until I was talking to the very nice mental health guy at the hospital that he had said, that's your trigger. And then it made more sense. So I started going to therapy again to try to see if I could fix that trauma. And yeah, 6 months later, I'm like, we didn't fix anything, and I owe you hundreds of dollars. So I broke up with my therapist. I don't know the phrase. I dumped him. I don't know what you'd say, but anyway, and I started seeing a different therapist from the same list that's just up the road, and I love it. And it's been hard because basically you're bringing up that past trauma and your body's reacting like it's happening right now. So I've had to deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression, and I'm just exhausted all the time. My body is basically detoxing from this trauma. And so it's really hard. I have to eat a lot of dark chocolate, which is a chore, I promise you. But I also need to eat citrus. I need to watch what I eat. Not a lot of junk food, that kind of stuff. So it's been really rough. And then to say hi. Hi! You're interrupting my video. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Yeah. Aren't you adorable? Yeah, you are, huh? Anyway. I just love them so much. I love you. Anyway, so it's been really hard. And I've realized from my childhood I've had a lot of unrealistic expectations set up for me, and now I've started to set them up for myself. So when the weekend comes and I haven't spring cleaned my entire house and folded the laundry and done all the things to my house that I've wanted to do, even though it's been a year since I've moved, there's still things that I need to get done. And I just beat myself up for it. It's something I'm trying not to do as much anymore. I hope I'm succeeding. Staring at the camera? Stay right there. Isn't he gorgeous? He knows it too. Anyway, but it's just, this last week has been really hard. And it's been more emotionally hard. And combined with the last couple months, just with life, and having to deal with this trauma and having to deal with those memories and those feelings and the depression and anxiety, it just gets really hard. And like I mentioned in the video I just posted, I don't think people realize how hard it is to be single, especially in the LDS church. I think I briefly mentioned in conference that I don't even think we got a mention. And it really hurts because, at least me, I know a lot of single women. In fact, a couple weeks ago, thank you for, here, yeah, lay down there. No, you're, okay. He has this thing with office supplies. I don't understand it. You're weird. I cannot use scissors or pens around him. You're silly. Anyway, so, like today, I haven't done much. I slept. I turned off all my alarms and just slept until I wanted to. I mean, the cats did wake me up for breakfast at 8 because that's when they eat. So, and then I went back to bed and slept. And then I've, kind of gone through my mail and just done some simple things and not thought I have to, clean all my windows and things like that. And then I got dressed and went to stake conference because I was singing in a choir. And it was a beautiful song called Here Am I. And I loved the message of it. But what was hard was, and I realized that sitting there tonight, because I've been struggling attending church. I've been struggling going to events. And I realize it's because I'm so tired of going alone. I've been going alone to things sans roommates for, I don't know, when was the last time I had roommates? Well, I mean, like, LDS roommates. 14 years. Yeah. And here it's just so obvious, and because I went tonight and I talked to a couple people, but I can go through a whole entire weekend without talking to someone who isn't a family member, and it's usually my mom. And it's kind of how things are. I moved, and I think people just assume I have a life. I didn't realize how hard it is to make friends after you turn a certain age, because I don't have kids, so I'm not talking with the primary parents. Sorry, that's my phone. I'm not talking with the primary parents. It's, and I mean, not that I'm saying my ward's awful, because I love my ward. I just think it's just a thing where, I would assume the same thing too. So anyway, so tonight we're sitting there, and hello again. It's been so long. Don't you dare walk on that laptop. Here. How about you sit here? Sit here. Or come play with the pen. Anyway, so, and it's just hard. I get so tired of going to things by myself. And in fact, I think that's what led me to be dragged to a dance for mid-singles in the area a couple weeks ago with a friend. And if this friend sees this video, I'm terribly sorry. It apparently is not my thing. I have not ever really had good experiences at LDS church / mid-singles singles dances, ever. So one time I got abandoned by my friends and spent the evening reading a book. And then another time it was Valentine's Day, and I spent it watching An Affair to Remember, which I was very glad for because I'd never seen the movie, and it's referenced in Sleepless in Seattle, which is a movie I love. Hi. Anyway, so he just wants attention, as you can tell. He's unloved. Anyway, so tonight was just hard because I've kind of been struggling. We sang "I'll Go Where Do You Want Me to Go," and for those of you who aren't members of the church, it's a hymn that talks about how we'll go where the Lord wants us to go. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out why the Lord put me here. I mean, I love my job. I do. I do not like the place that I live too much. We've had smoky air for weeks. I've got a cold and it's not going away because of the stupid smoky air. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it's just because I miss Scotland a lot, and I just don't think any place is ever going to, meet those expectations. Alas. So, anyway, but it just got me thinking tonight, because of this conversation that we had in Relief Society a while ago about what we can do to help our single sisters. And I mean, I don't know what it's like for widows. You usually have family, friends. Honestly, sometimes when I see a couple of my widow friends post that someone's come and cleaned out their car, or someone's brought them dinner, someone's, talked to them or whatever, and I get kind of jealous. I would love a meal. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is, being sick the last couple weeks and with the therapy, it's just been so hard. And my house isn't clean, and I'm probably not going to get it done tonight. It's almost 9. And I've just kind of decided, oh well, it'll get done when it gets done. As long as the cats are fed and I vacuum once a week and take showers, then we'll have to be good to go.